about all the other champions in that division? You got Scott Quinn, Carl Frampton, Guillermo Rigondeaux.
I'm gonna get the opportunity, boy. You working your ass off, don't you?
Hey, that's what we do. That's what we do.
DONTAE'S Boxing Nation. I see it, baby. Y'all the man.
That's what it is.
I love what you're doing for boxing.
Thank you, man.
Don't stop. Keep on going strong. Keep on going hard. A lot of big fights coming this year. A lot of big fights.
My camera.
All right, text her, let her know, because we going to eat dinner here. All right, so we going to find that restaurant, the level, because I'm tired as hell. I ain't traveling no damn place.
I would be remiss to ask about the Black Lives Matter. We got 3 black men in it talking. I would be remiss. Did you hear Floyd Mayweather comments when he says Kaepernick needs to worry about starting?
I'm here to say all lives matter. You know, a lot of times we get stuck, and we're followers. When you hear one person say, Black Lives Matters or Blue Lives Matters, all lives matters. And what I learned from boxing, what everyone can take in real life, is follow directions, follow order. Don't give nobody no hard time, because my thing is this, with everybody that's watching this interview and that's listening, because this interview will be played long when I'm gone. When someone breaking your house or someone breaking your car, the first thing we do is we call the police. You know, with me being a fighter and my hands being registered, if I hit a guy for breaking in my house or breaking in my car, it's gonna cost me more money. So I got to work smarter, not harder. I'm gonna call the cops. So, and it's not right what's going on within this world on both sides. I think we need to communicate better, and I think we need to follow direction. It's rules and regulations to everything.
What do you think of Colin Kaepernick protest?
I'm Floyd Mayweather. Kaepernick need to try to get the starting job. You know, stand up and get the starting job. That's what he need to focus on. But I can't knock him. If that's what he believe in, you know, and the people stand behind him, you know, so be it. He got the #1 selling jersey, so it's obvious he's doing something right.
What's your thoughts?
I don't agree with it. I think that as black people in this nation, particularly black men, it's incumbent upon us to be conscientious observers, to recognize trials and tribulations that we go through, if nothing else. Everybody is not going to conduct themselves the way Colin Kaepernick elected to conduct themselves. But just because you don't agree with it because it's something that you would not have done yourself doesn't mean that you condemn him in any way for having the courage to make that decision. You respect that brother, you appreciate him, and more importantly, you honor his conscience, because you know that we're the only ones that's going to do that. The other side, they ain't gonna give him that kind of love. Ain't nothing but vitriol, venom, and hostility that's coming his way. But having said all of that, I think we need to be careful as a community and how harshly we come down upon our own who say things that we don't disagree with. Floyd Money Mayweather is not a politician. He's a professional boxer. You asked him a question, you know, he may not have that kind of conscience. Lil Wayne made news the other day. That wasn't pleasant to watch. It wasn't pleasant to watch. He came across really, really bad, which is why he ultimately apologized. But you went to a musician who's had his issues, self-admittedly, with drugs and alcohol, and you're gonna throw a camera in his face and ask him. Be a conscientious observer who's articulating and elocuting thoughts about stuff that goes far deeper than he may have been ready to go at that particular moment in time. And we as black people, we want to go to hell off instead of stopping, pausing, and saying, why was the camera in their face for such an issue in the first place? Leave them alone. How come you didn't ask President Obama? How come you didn't ask senators and congressmen and women on Capitol Hill, the Maxine Waters, the Cory Bookers of the world? How come you didn't roll up on Stephen A. like you brothers did and ask that question? What about my man Michael Smith? What about my girl Jamel Hill? What about my man Bomani Jones at ESPN? What about Jamie Dukes, primetime Deion Sanders? Brothers who are known for communicating and articulating their thoughts. What about my man Mark Lamont Hill, my brother? What about my man Dr. Michael Eric Dyson? What about the great Joe Madison, who hosts a show on Sirius XM every weekday morning from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the Urban View channel? What about my girl Karen Hunter, who's a Pulitzer Prize winner that got a show on in the afternoon going up against a guy that I know well in Sean Hannity? What about those? There are so many intelligent, accomplished, conscientious black people that folks can go to all the time. But you don't go to a dude that got a history with drugs and alcohol and not necessarily being that conscientious, or a boxer who's worth more than $500 million, possibly $1 billion, whose vantage point and viewpoint is unquestionably different than where most of us is coming from. And then we gonna condemn them? Come on, man, cut those brothers some slack. I don't like what they said. I don't approve of it. I don't agree with it. But I'm not gonna engage in condemnation because they're expressing themselves in a different opinion than our own, because they're living in a different world.
And that's what they want us to do at the end of the day.
And it's not requiring them to be as conscientious as it's requiring us to be. Let's be smarter than that and make sure that we don't judge people for being different than ourselves and thinking different than ourselves, when at this point in time in their lives, for whatever reason, they may be exposed to something completely different than what we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. That's crabs in the basket, fellas. That's the world using us as an excuse to go at one another. And then some people gonna look at me and I'm no fool now. They're gonna look at me, they gonna say, Stephen A., who the hell is this dude? This dude getting on brothers all the time, blah, 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 blah. Let me answer that right now. You goddamn right I do. And I will continue to do that.
Hi, you're watching Dante's Boxing